Ugh. Oh, crap. Ugh. Great, another place I don't recognize.
Well, I guess the man finally decided to wake up.
Why is there a child talking down at me?
Silence! Do you not have any respect for the ruler of the Fourth Quadrant nation, Darvok?
You know, for a ruler of a nation, this place looks pretty damn poor.
Silence, you Californian!
I don't even know what you freaking want from me.
Oh look, another person pretending like they don't know anything.
I don't.
You come into my home village, and terrorize my people and steal the crimson blood that has been kept here for generations after generations.
I don't even know what the heck that is.
Now you're telling me you lost it?
Lost it? Oh, crap. It's gotta have something to do with that guy from earlier.
What now?
I think I've been framed. I'm highly sure that the person who stole whatever the heck that is, it wasn't me. I've been framed. Can I get like a court appeal or something?
Are you serious? There will be no court appeal. How? We shouldn't even be talking. Your punishment should be execution. But when you were taking your little nap, I found these notes on you, and now I have a better idea.
Okay, and?
And I found out these are clues that form a puzzle that lead back to the origin of the Crimson Blood. I would have had my team search for it, but I guess you got some work done for me.
So?
So, find the thing and bring it back to me, damn it. You do your community service hours, and I get my ancient relic back. It's a win-win.
So I'm being blackmailed in the worst possible manner by something that I didn't even do. Will I at least get some kind of reward other than not being dead?
I make no promises.
Alright then, it looks like we just have a deal. Although I gotta say, I make no promises. Okay then, can you just use your weird magic or something to warp me back to my house? That would help out a lot.
Oh no, I freaking hate you.
Ah! I just ate shit, didn't I? Great. At least I have a basic outline for all this. Just find the Crimson Blood, find my games, and find out who that other guy was. Looks like I'll get my justice eventually. Oh shit! It's a copy of Mario Kart Double Dash! Or wait a moment. I'm in somebody else's backyard. I really hope I don't get in trouble for this. Oh, I'm reviewing Mario Kart Double Dash for GameCube. Okay, thanks. That's really nice of you. Regardless, it looks like I can begin talking about Mario Kart Double Dash. Now, this has to be one of the singular best GameCube games. Hell, if not the best GameCube game. It's not just a fun party game to play with friends, but it's a great video game in general. But of course I'm rambling on right here, but you gotta tell yourself, what makes this a good video game? Well, it looks like we have to dissect this game bit by bit to discover what makes this game as great as it is. From the 5 points as we have, 6, but there's no storyline in this game, so we're just gonna use 5. We will discover, by even more unpopular demand by last time, what makes Mario Kart Double Dash a great game. Well, without further ado, let's jump right into the first category, control and game feel. Also, before I get on with the review, I just gotta say, shout out to the really cool family. They let me borrow their Nintendo GameCube so I can record footage for this review. So, thanks a lot to them, and let's get on to it. Control and game feel is freaking tight, as should be expected from a racing game like this. On the subject of controls, it's about what you expect from a Mario Kart game. Press A to go fast, B to go brake, the triggers to drift. And I mean, I love the GameCube controller as much as the next guy, but I don't know, something about controlling Mario Kart with this, it just feels so much better than anything. Maybe it's the adrenaline feel, the snap of the analog stick, or the clicky triggers that make me want to drift all over the place. But something about this are so great. Also, don't judge me, I always keep a GameCube controller on my person. Cameraman keeps it, you never know when you need it. Anyways, of course I cannot mention controls without bringing up the main gimmick of the game, the double dash mechanic. Now, in standard old Mario Kart, you'd just be able to play as one character. Fortunately, this ain't your granddad's Mario Kart, as now you can have 2 people instead of 1. Now, I know that sounds like it would overcomplicate things, but things are still kept pretty streamlined. Now, the main function is that by pressing the Z button, both characters will switch their positions, and since both characters can hold an item, you can now properly hold 2 separate items. Now granted, you could technically do this in the previous games by holding a defensive item and then grabbing a separate item in reserve. but that was kind of limited in what you could do. But here, now that you can separately and freely have 2 items, you could hold one defensive item like a banana peel, and then also have an offensive item like a red shell, and then instantly switch to use either one depending on your situation. Now, if you've played 8 Deluxe, you've probably thought to yourself, hey, I've seen that double item box before. And yes you have, because the double item box was actually brought back in 8 Deluxe. But it was completely ruined, defeating the whole point of the double item box. The whole thing was that it was cool that you could freely switch to whatever item, but you can't do that in 8 Deluxe, and you have to get rid of your first item to use your second one. Then, in that case, it's barely any different from the old system. Anyways, the only other mechanic of note is with the character selection. Yes, the glorious part of this game. With 20 characters, it's one of the largest selections of characters in all of the franchise, and I feel it's one of the best. It's one of the most balanced, as I feel it has everything that I look for in a Mario Kart roster. A solid selection of normal, heavy, and lightweight characters, all split up into 3 pairs. And of course, it has the best thing that I look for in all rosters, and it's fun, bullshit characters. Because a Mario Kart is not a Mario Kart without bullshit characters being an unlockable. And we got an absolute classic bullshit character. I mean, come on, who doesn't like Petey Piranha? He's gotta be one of my favorite Mario characters just by how funny he is. It's just so weird that Nintendo actually put him in a lot of spin-offs to try to make him a big mainstay character, but it sucks that he doesn't appear in anything anymore. Although the roster isn't without its flaws. The main one is that Paratroopa is honestly pretty lame. I mean, he got replaced by Dry Bones in Mario Kart Wii, so why not just have Dry Bones in the beginning? Or hell, I would have even taken Shy Guy, just something cooler. Oh yeah, and the only other unlockable character is Toad and Toadette. Now, I'm not mad about Toad being unlockable, but I'm not a fan of it either. And on the subject of that, this was actually the very first appearance of Toadette, period. And here came the beginning of the most Mario character ever. I mean, I don't hate her, but she's not that interesting either. And gonna be honest, I think she's just brought up more questions than necessary. But yeah, Nintendo, stop shoving her in people's faces and start using better characters like Petey Piranha. Well, what did any of that have to do with my next point? Well, it's probably the fact that every single character is made even more individual by a thing called character-specific items. Yeah, that's right. For once, there's an actual good reason to pick certain characters over others. And once again, adds a whole new level of strategy. Maybe you want to mow through people with Bowser's giant shell, but then that will slow you down if you usually play faster characters, and vice versa. Although these aren't perfect. And I think that's mainly a thing on my part on how I only play lightweight characters. If you're wondering, I main Toad and Paratroopa, and they have the absolute worst special moves. Koopa and Paratroopa's special move is triple red shells, and Toad and Toadette have the golden mushroom. Once were normal items turned into special ones, which I think is just kinda messed up. And the only other lightweight characters are Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. And granted, their special isn't that bad, but who the hell wants to play as those two? But other than that nitpick, the special items are pretty cool, and I would totally be down for them to make a return in a future entry. Because right now, as it stands, I feel there could be a lot more motivation for choosing different characters. So that about wraps up control and game feel. Overall, this game feels extremely precise, and the new controls and gameplay mechanics add a ton of strategy, despite some things definitely not being perfect. Now, while I won't sit here and try to convince you that the graphics are better than 8 Deluxe, I can still say that for the GameCube, these are some pretty solid graphics. I feel the art style and character models work well, and give everyone the right amount of expression that they need. I love the fine details and expressions the characters can give at times, giving everything a very cartoonish feel to it, which I feel the Mario franchise needs to adopt a lot more. I feel everything definitely looks better in comparison to Mario Kart Wii, which would reuse a lot of assets from this game. The character models look fine in Double Dash, but feel out of place in Wii with a different color saturation, and especially putting the same tracks side by side. I can appreciate how much more colorful this game looks compared to the more dull colors of Wii. Of course, by having your character in the middle of the screen, it's easy to tell what a background element is and what isn't. And I mean, I'm just a sucker for racing games in general, in that it's so cool to me how the game can generate the race course in front of you in real time while having 7 other different computers being controlled as well. Despite the fact it's actually not that technically impressive, but ugh. Now, the summary for the graphics. Now, while this isn't the greatest looking GameCube game, it definitely doesn't mean that the graphics are bad or have aged poorly. as they haven't at all. Oh, especially compared to the earlier Mario Kart games that can really show their age these days. And plus, this game has some pretty solid art direction, so thanks. Junji Mori, you ought to be proud.
Now, while I won't sit down and try to explain what a Mario Kart is on the most basic level, I can try to explain my thoughts on why I think this game works so well. Point 1 has to do with the fact that this would be the second to last of what I like to call the classic era of Mario Kart games, with the modern era starting with Mario Kart Wii. Now, of course, we all know how this game works. You get into a vehicle and drive around a race course while using items to get an advantage. And of course, I don't need to explain how this formula works as well as it does, but breaking the formula down to its most basic elements cuts out a lot. The main difference that separates the styles are the style of drifting and the number of racers on a course. I feel like 8 racers on a course is the perfect amount, where everyone is still engaged in the race. But in Wii, the amount of racers would be changed to 12 instead. I think this change is extremely dumb and unnecessary for reasons I'll discuss in a bit.
Now it looks like it's finally time to talk about the drifting styles. Now, in the old Mario Karts, in order to drift, you would have to click down on one of the triggers, and then snap the analog stick back twice. 1 time, 2 time, release, you got yourself a little turbo. Now, this was the one mechanic that separated the noobs and the pros when it came to Mario Kart. And mastering the mechanic is essential in order to play Mario Kart well.
The game really wants you to master this mechanic, and once you're at the end of the game, the movements to do it are etched into the back of your mind forever. And wouldn't you know it, the old style of drifting would be removed in Mario Kart Wii because people took advantage of it and made it super hard for normal people to play online. Because boo-hoo, I'm so sad that the noobs can't play Mario Kart with the rest of us. And the final thing that's great is item balancing. Now here's where we get into the good stuff. Now of course, giving everyone 2 items definitely makes this game more intense. Definitely the most intense in the series up to this point. And while yeah, you could say that the balancing is absolute bullshit, but the bullshit elements are what make this game great. Because of all the items being thrown, you will never in this game just be in first place with everyone else a mile away, and it's an automatic yes that you're going to win. You're always in motion between being in first place or your spot being able to be taken if you screw up. But it doesn't mean that the game is unfair either, as even if you fall down to a lower position, there's tons of opportunities to get back up again. But none of that would matter if the tracks sucked, would they? But luckily for you, the tracks in this game are some of the absolute best in the series. Some of my favorites are Baby Park, a track that's literally just an oval that you pass around 8 times. But with the mentioned item balancing, it makes an absolute blast of a track to play, especially with friends. Mushroom City and Mushroom Bridge are some of the best city levels in the series. I mean, one of them literally has you driving through San Francisco. How great is that? And Daisy Cruiser is a stage that literally takes place on a cruise ship. How is it not an instant fan favorite? And don't even get me started on Yoshi's Circuit. I mean, come on, you're literally riding on a giant Yoshi. Not only is it funny as hell, but with so many other twists and turns, it makes it a chaotic ride to be in. So in other words, here's the tier list.
Overall, I gotta say that this is one of the most solid track selections in the entire Mario Kart series. Yeah, it's not perfect S ranks all around the board, and some people could say that only 16 tracks is a massive flaw. But at least these tracks are memorable. I mean, how many times have you seen Yoshi's Circuit or Baby Park reappear in games? These tracks have great design, with fun and memorable gimmicks most of the time. And I'd say if these tracks were great enough for me to keep coming back and back again until I 100% of the game, then I'd say it did a great job.
The soundtrack is an absolute banger, dude. And while of course pretty much every Mario Kart soundtrack is great, there's something that really works well with this one. It shows you that you don't need killer digital effects or a live orchestra to make a soundtrack great. I just love the sense of adrenaline you can get with these tracks. They're upbeat, catchy, and they keep my heart racing when I'm in an intense situation. Everyone always says that music is an extremely important part of building atmosphere, and I don't think there's any better example than this. Whether you're driving through a snow or a rainbow wonderland in space, these tracks do their job, and they do them well while keeping the cheerful, happy, and upbeat essence of the Mario series. Just a great, solid soundtrack overall. Not much more to say. Finally, we have come to the biggest part of the entire game. Extra content and replay value. This is where I feel the game is at its absolute strongest. and an element that I feel recent Mario Karts have lacked. So while no Mario Kart has a story mode per se, it still has some form of progression that is meant to be followed. Basically, there are 3 separate modes: 50cc, 100cc, and 150cc, which respond to how higher the difficulty will be and how fast your kart will go. The difficulty in this game is just perfect. Since the classes are split up into 3, there is no need for the game to have a real difficulty spike in the tracks, since that's up to the cup classes. 50 and 100cc are of course just easy and normal mode, but 150cc, the hard mode, that is where the game gets really challenging. If you try to just beat 150cc in one go, you'll be stopped dead in your tracks, as you really have to memorize routes in order to win. The computers will get pretty ruthless at times, and it's your job to outsmart them. So when you finally beat 150cc, you feel like you really accomplished something, because you were the one who won. You were the one who learned how to master the game and become better. In that case, it almost feels like a fighting game, in that they have the same exact easy to learn, hard to master mentality that works so well. And this works great not only in a Mario Kart game, but for all racing games in general. But anyways, when it comes to game progression, you play all the cups one by one by getting first place in each of them, and of course, getting first place in each of them awards you with a gold trophy, and those gold trophies will unlock you stuff. And god, this system absolutely kills it in this game. You unlock a brand new kart every time you get a gold trophy, which incentivizes you to continue and 100% the game. And other than karts and characters like we've said before, you also get 2 more ultimate unlockables. Mirror mode is pretty self-explanatory, but it's a solid challenge. You play through the entirety of 150cc, but everything is mirrored, making it so you practically have to rememorize the whole game. And so after you've beaten that, you've gotten so many of these stupid gold trophies, but the final test has finally came over. The All Cup Tour. In this, you have to play through the entire game all in one sitting, and all of the tracks are randomized. The only set in stone placements is that it always starts in Luigi's Circuit and ends in Rainbow Road. I just love this mode. It's such a weird concept that I would have never expected, yet here it is. It's just that kind of gaming moment where you get a bowl of Totinos and some Mountain Dew as you're committed to spend a solid hour just doing pro gaming and nothing else. Sucks that the All Cup Tour would never come back in future entries, and I guess that kind of makes sense because having to go through 8 cups would be a lot of work to go through. But I still really enjoyed the mode. But after all is done and you've shown that you've truly mastered the game, you unlock one of the best endgame rewards in gaming period, the Parade Cart. That's right, you get a cart completely made out of gold with all of the maxed out stats. Moments like this, the kind of stuff that I can brag so heavily about to people, are the kinds of things that should be rewarded for people for taking the time to master the game. And this speaks for all games of any kind. 100% completion bonuses like this shouldn't even be a question on whether they should be in a game or shouldn't. And man, I didn't even mention the multiplayer. The multiplayer in this game is so much fun. What I like about this battle mode is that the selection of tracks are absolutely brilliant. The GameCube track is super funny. Pipe Plaza is a fun one as you have all the pipes and you get to move around in different areas. And Luigi's Mansion is always so tense because you're riding around in these small hallways and you both are on either side of the map, so it's always so tense because it's a race to see who's going to get the first hit. And of course, standard racing is also lots of fun to have as well. Just a solid multiplayer mode all around.
Overall, that wraps up my thoughts on Mario Kart Double Dash. You know, just being able to sit down, dissect, and figure out why I love this game so much kind of helped me appreciate it a bit more. And hopefully I made you guys appreciate this game a bit more as well. And while some other people might prefer a Deluxe style of having everything unlocked for you, or 12 racers, or the new style of drifting, or frickin' tilt controls, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, that's what makes your Mario Kart experience fun. But this game right here, this has everything. From the track selection, to the replay value, to the mentalities of playing again and again and again until you can become the Mario Kart master. I mean, this is what makes my Mario Kart experience fun. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. Before I go, looks like I should probably check out the note of the day. Wow, that's pretty weird being able to just come up and just there. Oh, okay, what is it? Secure the area. Make it fortified. The defense is vital in this locked-in chess arena. I have no idea what the hell that means, but it looks like I'm just gonna have to meet you again on By Unpopular Demand.